Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine, and I have a mosaic project to share with you today. We are in the middle of our ancient Roman main lesson block, and we are using this book by Lauri Carlson called Classical Kids as inspiration for hands-on projects and activities. This book is chock full of simple projects that you can do with mostly supplies that you have around your house. So today we're going to work on this paper mosaic project, but first we're going to do them with tiles. Now we have this Golden Gate Bridge mosaic kit that we picked up from a gift shop, and I'm going to repurpose it for our ancient Roman main lesson block by turning this into an image that will work with the aqueducts and like an ancient Roman image, but also it's going to work with this artistic style of using mosaics, which was common during the Roman times. All right, so it comes with this grid in order for you to place all of those little tiles on them with the coordinate numbers, but I just hand drew a little aqueduct system, and we are going to use the tiles that come in this kit in order to do that new image. So I'm just going to put all the tiles into these little paint trays, and it comes with the glue that you need, and we weren't quite sure whether we were supposed to glue down the grid onto the backing. I'm not sure that we were supposed to, but we decided to do that anyway. Now we have all of our little tiles in our paint trays, and we went ahead and numbered them just in case we decided to go back and just do that Golden Gate design. All right, so since we're not quite sure if we're going to have enough colors in order to do our aqueduct, we decided to place our tiles down before gluing them. Not all of them, because that would have been too tedious, but at least a few of them, just so that we could see if we were going to have enough of these different colored tiles. Now it would have looked better if we had a lot more grays and blacks and browns, but I think in the end it turns out okay. These tiles are really good quality, they're nice and glossy, and I really like the way it looks in the end, and it's really inspired us to do more mosaic projects. Now we ended up with a lot of blues and greens, which is supposed to be the ocean and the water, so we just made our aqueduct going over one of the rivers, and then you can see the smaller arches for the smaller aqueduct on top of the larger one. And then of course we had a lot of blues, and so we were able to fill in the top with a nice sky and some clouds. All right, so that mosaic was a lot of fun to do, but I want to show you a more simple mosaic project that you can do with supplies that you already have at home. So we're going to use some watercolor paper for this, but you can certainly use any kind of paper that you have on hand. And I'm also going to use my paper trimmer, but you could use a pair of scissors. And I've got a bunch of scrapbook cardstock paper. Of course, you could just use some regular cardstock, and I'm cutting it into strips that are 1 inch long. And then I'm going to cut them again, so I've got 1 inch squares. And this works okay, but I think if they were smaller squares, it would look even better, and you'll be able to see at the end why. I'm also using my Silhouette Cameo in order to make easy work of making these squares. Just ran some paper through my Silhouette Cameo, which is a digital die cutting machine that hooks up to your computer. Makes it super easy. Now I just have to remove all of them from this cutting mat, and they didn't cut all the way through, but they're pretty easy to separate. All right, so we have all of our supplies. I've got my glue stick. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue onto my watercolor paper, and I'm going to position my little squares to make the same image, which was an aqueduct system with some rolling hills in the background, and then got this light purple color for the sky, which ended up not being a good idea because there wasn't enough contrast between our aqueduct and the sky. Now this is a collaborative project, and so I've got my mom and my son and myself all working on this together, and now we're just going to glue all of our images together so it's nice and long, and that way you can see the image a little bit better because our squares are so large. So from a distance, and if you squint your eyes, you can kind of see that aqueduct. All right, so we had tons of those little tiles left over, so I decided to start gluing them onto this little glass jar, and I think it looked okay in the end. All right, so if you want to see some of the other projects we're doing with our ancient Rome main lesson block, you can tap on the screen right now. If you want to see some of the other projects we're doing in our homeschool, I've left a couple of playlists here that might interest you. And don't forget, if you want to see what we're up to on a daily basis, you can find me on Instagram at Pepper and Pine.